Welcome to Challenge 6, Team Scheduling Success. This challenge involves the development of a Microsoft Project quality checking tool that would be made available free of use. The team comprises of myself, Jay Patel, Jareth Reeves, Smruti Kaur and Lorna Corbin. Together we're a team of project professionals with a diverse range of backgrounds. The user statement here is that we want to give non-scheduler project professionals the ability to easily quality check their MS project schedules without the need to purchase expensive licenses for complicated professional use products. This will give them the confidence that the schedules they're developing are robust and deliverable, and also support them in developing better quality schedules. In considering the features of the tool, we looked at industry best practice schedule assurance criteria, the most well-known being the DCMA 14-point check. We also felt that it would be valuable to consider some metrics around the critical path and critical activities. We began to develop the concept and start to consider what the user interface should look like, some of the measurements and parameters of the key criteria, the user experience, and critically to bound the scope given the limited time available. From then on, we started to think about the technical architecture and the process flow. The starting point will always be the native MS project file. We then decided that we'd need to pull this into an Excel file to then transform the data ready for visualization using Power BI. I'm going to give you an overview of the tool that we developed. It's been loaded with some dummy data so that we can see some outputs. So firstly, we've got the data composition. We can explore this. So the total number of activities broken down by how they've been scheduled, auto or manual, the amount of milestones within the data set, and the number of activities that are critical within respective divisions. We show a total breakdown of activities by constraint type, and then moving on to the dials at the bottom, we are counting activities that meet a number of criteria, these being no predecessor, no successor, with no logic, with negative lag, and summary tasks that have got logic contained. We've then also shown this as a percentage of the total to give the user an idea of areas they might want to take a look at. So moving on to page 2, we've got a profile of the activity durations within the data set. So this allows us to see whether we've got excessive amounts of long activities, and we've also got the data broken down by float quantities, so we can understand how many activities are on the critical path and how many activities are on the near critical path. So for example, if I want to explore this data a bit further, I can look at all the activities that have got a greater duration than 100 days. I can see that actually of all of my critical activities, about half of them have a duration of greater than 100 days, which is something we'd want to look at and resolve. One of the key problems we faced was the export of data from Microsoft Project. Unfortunately, Power BI is unable to receive the native file directly, and we have had to manually export the data by selecting the fields in Project. This process is quite involved and likely to put off novice users. Ideally, a user would go to a single application where they would load the native file, set threshold criteria for the metrics, and then view and explore the output. We feel this is possible by developing an app. Currently, interpretation of the schedule output is limited by the user's knowledge of what they should be looking for in terms of best practice. So we feel that more effective use of the tool needs to be accompanied by training and guidance and trying to upskill people. Moving on to the judges' questions. Question 1, how can this tool be used to convey the critical path, and how can you convey the critical path in a more meaningful way? So use of the tool is intended to be supplemental to reading the schedule. It provides further context when looking at the critical path and helps you to further understand the likelihood of near critical activities becoming critical. Question 2. How do you account for meaningful external factors not represented in the plan? In short, the tool can't. The intent of the tool is to help users assess the construct of the schedule and help upskill occasional planners. It's not a substitute for a schedule review by an experienced professional, but what it should do is make that review more efficient by being the first line of defense, so to speak. Question 3. How can you provide an overview of plan quality to a senior leader? Now, although we haven't done this, we consider that a future development could be to develop an overall score grading or indicator that would indicate the health of the schedule, which would be built up from the individual metric scores. Now, these would have to be weighted, and we wouldn't necessarily know how to do this at first, but I think we could establish those weightings over a period of testing and refinement and build it into something that would be quite useful to a senior leader. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.